Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kai, and welcome back to Warframe. Today, we will be taking a look at Zephyr. Now, you see, Zephyr Prime was actually my very first Prime that I ever got. I was lucky enough to be blessed that a player who I was buying just the blueprint from gave me the entire set because the Warframe community is so nice. But that's besides the point. Zephyr is probably, and I mean this sincerely, one of the easiest frames in the entire game for surviving and for just killing everything. Her buffs made her absolutely ridiculous, and I think she is so slept on. But that's the point of this video, is it not? To teach you why you need to pick up Zephyr and go use her in the Steel Path, because, oh my god, it is ridiculous. So let's go hop into the sim, and I'll show you why. Alright, so now that we are in the sim, let's go take a peek at the actual Zephyr build, and what we always start with, her abilities. So, first thing I notice is that I have subsumed off Turbulence, I think it's called, for Roar. Roar is a damage multiplier ability that also works on your frames abilities, unlike something like Eclipse or Zada's Whisper. This is really good, because this build synergizes, its main focus is tornadoes. So, Roar buffs how much tornadoes assist in killing things. It also buffs your weapon damage. And Roar is just a great ability to put on Zephyr. Turbulence is good, but its usability kind of drops in non-open world areas. So that's the ability I would subsume off if you have anything else you want to try. But the other abilities, Airburst. Airburst is a great grouping ability, very similar to Larva. As you can see here, when you go and cast it out, it just pulls all enemies in and ragdolls them. You can also hold down to send enemies flying, but there is really no reason to do that. This ability does do damage, and if you mod for a lot of strength, you can actually insta-kill in like very low level missions with this. I don't really know why it does damage, because it's negligible at higher levels, but it's there if you want to. Turbulence. This is invulnerability in an ability. You go all airbender, and then you just get a windshield around you that just deflects all incoming projectiles. Zephyr also really likes to be in the air because her passive gives her 150% critical chance while in the air. So you're not being hit by any melees or anything, and this reflects rockets, so like AoE doesn't, like, this ability, if you have it up, is just infinite invincibility. You can't take damage. Like, you literally can't take damage. It's ridiculous. And then the bread and butter of Zephyr, tornadoes. So you press your ability button, and then you cast out a group of 3 tornadoes. If you just press, you cast out tornadoes that will seek out enemies and move. If you hold, you can just cast 3 right in front of you. This ability is really good, because when enemies get grouped up into it, the tornadoes can take on a status effect of the weapon you're shooting them with, and they multiply everything that goes into them by crit chance of 200%. It might be, it could be 300, I'm actually not entirely sure, but they are ridiculous. And as you can see here, they have a radius of 51 meters. Okay, tornadoes are an AFKer's like wet dream. Like, seriously, they're phenomenal, and they synergize really good with Roar. So let's go take a look at the actual build, and I can demonstrate to you why that is. So, coming in here, and you know what? With all things, I don't like to, besides maybe Equinox or whatever, I don't really invest a lot in these builds, because I want the people who watching this be able to go and replicate it almost instantly. And as you can see here, I don't have any Forma in Zephyr Prime. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever struggled with needing to Forma for anything. That's because Zephyr is really easy to build. Starting off, max duration, or close to max duration, not entirely max. That means we don't really need to cast our abilities that much, because we are just running base 100 efficiency. So at max duration, we just cast, and then we're good for like a minute. Roar is up for 72 seconds. This is up for 48. This is up for 48. That's a really long time in the grand scheme of things. Efficiency at 100%. Yeah, these abilities are really damn expensive, but that's kind of negated by the fact that Archon Flow is here, and that we have 242% duration. Range of 205. This is important. You want tornadoes to have a good radius to pick up enemies and airburst. Turbulence does not just make you invulnerable. It creates a really, really big shield radius. So you can actually shield objectives with this. Does this come with the bad side effect of that? Yes, it's easier for enemies to get within your radius. True. But trust me, it's negligible in gameplay. You won't even really ever notice it. You are just invulnerable. Now, the rest of the build here in the aura slot, honestly, I have aerodynamic here just because it happens to be a Vazarin polarity, and Zephyr likes to be in the air. This is unnecessary. You're practically invulnerable with turbulence up, so you don't need to take less damage in the air if you're not taking any damage at all. Auras that I would recommend, kind of anything. This build does not need an aura to be good. I mean, you could run corrosive projection, but as you'll see in a little bit, not necessary. So use whatever here. Growing power could be nice because we're only at 110 strength, but that's just because we get a higher increase off of roar. But really, just that 30% at base is fine enough. For our arcanes, energize is a staple here because while we do have a lot of energy max, they still cost a lot. So having energize really, really helps. Arcane Avenger, you can kind of use whatever here again. This is kind of your flex slot. Energize, I would say, is a must need. I just use Avenger because it's nice. Although, a caveat is that you really don't take much damage as Zephyr. So something like Combat Discipline could be used here. You would just need to subsume Roar off for an ability that gives you healing. Because when tornadoes are grouping enemies aggressively and you shoot a huge group of 10 enemies, you will kill yourself really, really easily because you're nuking so much with tornadoes. But besides that, this is the build. Really, really simple. So let me spawn some heavy gunners and I'll show you why. I actually forgot. Why is this build so good? Because yes, Zephyr, these abilities are great. But they're really, really great because of the weapons you can pair it with. Almost forgot to show off why the Fulman is one of the best guns in the game and why it is, in my opinion, if not the best, one of the best guns for Zephyr. So let's go and look at it. Now, I'm sure this looks weird. Gas on a modern day build. But you gotta remember that Zephyr's tornadoes multiply everything through the means of crit by 200 or 300%. I'm not sure. So, this synergizes so well with tornadoes because they'll adopt the gas status effect. They'll multiply the hell out of it. And since all these enemies are grouped up, you're getting like quadruple ticks on them, paired with the Fulman's base electricity, which applies a chain stun effect and damages between enemies. This just nukes. And the rest of this build is pretty simple. Merciless, obviously, because it's primary Merciless. Galvanized Chamber, Aptitude for more on-kill damage. This kind of replaces Serration, because we're getting a lot of status with these. Shred, use Prime Shred if you have it. I don't, but I will 100% be switching that out when I get it. This is nice punch through, and then a little bit of fire rate. We don't want much, but it's good. And then critical delay, vital sense, hammer shot, because we want crit damage, and then also getting that extra status from hammer shot is really, really good. Exilus, if you want to use Exilus, you can use whatever, honestly. I mean, it's a default, what is this, Matter-Eye? Yeah, Matter-Eye polarity, so you could use terminal velocity or whatever. I don't think that a Exilus is necessary on the Fulman. Don't unlock it unless you really, really want to max this gun out. Epitaph is just a good primer, but really you won't be using this. Glaive Prime, this is just all around probably the best melee weapon in the game, and it's really, really good on Zephyr because you get that extra crit chance while you're floating, and, you know, you can group enemies with airbursts that are far away from you and then throw this at them, use the heavy attack, and then boom, blow them all up. Zeneric, again, focus school. Use whatever you want. I mean, you know what? I actually might switch it just to Matter-Eye because it's nice, and we get that casting speed if we go in and out of op. So, let me spawn some heavy gunners and show you just how stupidly powerful this build is. Alright, so, when I first get into a mission, I like to just, when enemies start coming out, I just cast Turbulence. Boom. Virtually immune now. Cast Roar. Now, I'm just going to hold cast Tornadoes to put 3 in front of me. Boom. Alright, they all get picked up. Now, make sure you're in the air when you shoot. But this is with no stacks of anything. I mean... Whoa. They died. Instantly. I know I had stacks there, but like you guys saw how I had no stacks. That was absolutely nothing on the Fullman. And they died instantly. I know Roar is a little bit of a damage multiplier, but oh, how crazy was that? Another great thing to have on Zephyr is an Adarza Kavat. The extra crit chance from Cat's Eye is always helpful, especially in a crit and status focused build like this. But let me get those enemies back in here just so I can show you one more time that even with absolutely 0 stacks, this build just dominates. So we can Turbulence, Roar. Let's get our Tornadoes in here. Not everyone got picked up, so you can use Air Burst to pull everyone in. You hop into the air, and I somehow missed. Woof. Absolutely ridiculous. But let's prove that this build is not just a sim build and actually works in game. So I'm gonna go hop into the Steel Path and demonstrate, just like I do with everything else, why this is so strong. So here's the thing about this build. I played some of this build for the past couple days, and I did this exactly right here last night. I know how this is gonna perform, so let me just show you why I say that you are immune as Zephyr, because look at this. Cannot take damage unless melee enemies get up to you, but like don't let them. Then also make sure that you're chilling in the air so that you get that extra crit chance, and then you can just use Glaive though to nuke these starting enemies so that you can get some energy. Because if we do all this, and I mean right now though, this is a build in of itself. We can't take damage. Like we literally can't take damage. It's impossible. Even though I'm getting awful energy drops. Just floating around with the extra crit chance, and then like, alright, let me group some enemies here. Air Burst. The Slash proc will kill them. But can I get some energy so I can use the extra build? Here we go. Alright, tomato time. Oop, one tap.
Life support on the way.
The only way you'll ever die right there is if your turbulence runs out and you don't recast. I should level up the mods my companion because this thing does a lot. But regardless, like, and you know, you won't die though because Shield Gate will save you. You just need to pay a little bit of attention. Wow, that's a lot of damage numbers over there. Let's go see what's going on. Ooh, all dead.
I've delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time.
I mean, and Glaive Prime works really good for these two as well, because it gives you that slash proc, and it just works for like just killing like basic enemies when you don't have like the tornadoes affecting them. That could have been bad. Turbulence got to run out. Let's just recast. I mean, so funny. Then I can just group. Ooh, nice little red right there. If I had Arcane Avenger proccing consistently paired with Cat's Eye and Glaive Prime, I would probably be hitting red crits. So just know that that is like possible.
Life support incoming.
All dead. Let's group. Tornadoes. Let's cast Turbulence again. See, that is the only part right there. You will not, nice red. You will not die when Turbulence is up. It is, you have to try to die. But when it runs out for a little bit, it is possible. But we did get our Arcane Avenger to proc, and we're hitting some juicy reds. But like, this is just literally just such a brain dead build. Like, I want to get my tornadoes over here, so I'll recast. It just multiplies their damage so aggressively. And if I don't have this dumbass Adarza. I am on Matarai actually for the casting speed, but it is not entirely necessary. Turbulence, let's group.
Did I not tell
Woo!
this day? Did I not prophesize this?
Woo! Oh my god, those reds. Those reds. Oh. They're so satisfying. You can get them even more consistently if you really built into Arcane Avenger, and then you had some other crit mods. But let's group again. Let's pop that tornado. Oof. Gas will kill all of them. Literally a single shot from a non-stacked Fullman. All dead. And even corrupted heavy gunners are absolutely no match for this build. Hey, Vor. Turbulence cast again. Pop out over here. Glaive Prime is really great for just killing these mass enemies. Like, you'll see that I use the Fullman, but honestly, you can really just use the Glaive as I'm seeing here. But the Glaive also really messes up bosses. Especially Vor.
We cannot blame these creatures. They are being led by a false prophet, an imposter.
Slash proc's ridiculous. I don't know what I don't know how I just got hit with an electricity proc. Don't ask. Tornado. Group him in. Oh.
Of their impurity.
The operative has just made their first discovery.
But yeah, so like that's the build, everybody. It's a real simple one
Extraction is ready.
because let's just kill this guy too. I could throw some status on him, some corrosive, and then let the Glaive Prime do the work.
This death.
As levels start to stack higher, you'll notice that you will need to use your Fullman a bit more because of the gas. But at just base steel path, Zephyr is a great weapons platform because we have Roar subsumed on, and because Turbulence makes you immune to everything. So like it's the same as Nezha with warding Halo. You can just run around and nuke things with your melee or your primary and like not really have to worry about it. But yeah, that's the build. So I just want to say like thank you so much guys for all the support that you've been showing lately on all the videos. It really means a lot to me because I've always wanted to do YouTube like this, and to finally find a place where it seems like people enjoy the content that I make, it just makes me really happy to see that. So I hope you guys continue to enjoy what I put out. I do put a lot of effort into these and hope that they're up to your guys' standards. I continue to make videos because of the positive reception and hope that stays. So thank you so much. It means the world to me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.